Welcome back to a new episode here in SUALVI. Today is Friday. Alright, so let's get right into the effect that we are working on today. It's called the buttercup challenge, I guess. I think it was from TikTok where it became popular, and then it's sort of like people started making and added this effect to their own videos later on. I'm not sure if the app has a specific effect that does this, but this is so if you want to do like I don't know, add this effect to a music video or something like that, or just to make an entertaining video. So let me just show you right here what we already have. We have all these things. Let me just tell you, this took me so freaking long. It took me like 3 hours maybe to create this 12-second intro. And the reason for that is that I wanted to add like make it go faster as the beat went faster, as you saw in the intro. So that takes us to the first step. If you do not record your video with your music in it already, then and you want to use like a different song or something, you want to have to adjust and mark the beats to the song. And the way to do this is you simply have your track right here. This is muted right now because I don't want it to mix in the audio right now. So each marker here is a beat that we are marking on the actual song. You can select it. If you select this song and then you press M, it's gonna create a marker in the actual song clip. So you don't want to keep it selected, but you just want to leave it like that, and then when you create, press M and that will create a marker. So after you have your beat set up, if you're working with a song that's different from your actual clip or video, what you want to do is create freeze frames, which these are all freeze frames of the actual clip in the marker. So let me just show you right now how we're gonna do this. Let me drag this to the side. We're gonna bring our clip, and let me take the media out section out of here. Okay, so let's say we wanna create a freeze of these. So what we will do is we create the marker first, then we're gonna copy these. We're gonna go one extra keyframe forward, and you'll see why in a second. The reason is that if you just leave it like that, when you cut it, it might be black. So it might just cut the whole clip right there. So what you wanna do is go one frame ahead. Then you're gonna press Ctrl B to cut these, and you can just leave these like that. So if you're gonna cut different parts, you're just gonna do the same thing. Let's say, whoop, you don't have to get rid of these yet. What you can do is, for example, right here, if you want it here, you create another marker and go one more keyframe, and then select this top one and press Ctrl B to cut the piece. Okay, so then we have these, but this is like sort of replacing the video that we have down here. So what we want to do is we're gonna go to where our marker is, and you can press Shift R to create a keyframe, or you can go to Clip and then Freeze Frame. So you just go and press Shift R, and that will freeze the whole thing. You see, that freezes the whole thing. And one cool effect is sort of like stop motion. If you just leave the keyframes here with the marker, it adds a cool effect, but I'm not gonna be able to show you right now because these are all Fusion comps that have the effect in it. Okay, once you have your freeze frame, what you want to do is you're gonna right click, and then you can create a new Fusion clip, or you can directly open it in Fusion. I choose to open it in the Fusion page. Okay, when you're here in Fusion, what you want to do is, depending if you want to do it to many pieces, you're gonna have to copy your media in and create a new merge node like that, and then create the mask separately. But for this tutorial, we're just gonna do one piece of body. That sounds really weird. Okay, then we're gonna use this polyline mask, and we're gonna do these, and it's gonna take the whole thing out. So how do we get rid of these? We're gonna invert our mask, and then we're gonna select our arm here. And it's gonna be a really rough cut, so I don't want to take too long. For the tutorial's sake, it might not be perfect, but I'm just gonna leave it like that, like a frog hand. Okay. So right now we see it this way, but we wanna take out the invert again, and we're gonna go to our media in, and we're gonna press Ctrl M to open our selection tools tab, and then we're gonna add a transform node, which is gonna allow us to animate our keyframe. Right now our whole thing is a bit too long, but ideally you want to just keep it a little bit shorter so that you don't have a huge timeline when you're here in Fusion. So this is where the marker is. So you notice that I didn't change this part at all. So when we came from the edit page, I have the marker selected here. So then when we go to the Fusion page, we don't have to find the actual keyframe again. So let's go back. Here, you're gonna create the first keyframe, and you can animate the sides. You can play around with it and be as creative as you want. And that's gonna be the ending keyframe. So we're gonna go a couple of frames. It's 94, so let's go like 80, so like 14 frames. So we're gonna move these from this side. What that's gonna do is gonna bring it and then end here. What you can do also is you can add the spline tool. You select everything by pressing Ctrl A, and then you press F to make it a little bit smoother, and that is pretty much it. So how do we go about the color and the glowing part? So for that, what I did was I go to the selection tool by pressing Ctrl M again, and then we're gonna add a glow node. And first we're gonna get rid of these. We're gonna create a new merge node. We're gonna add this glow to these on top and then make a double connection right here. The reason for this is that if you just leave the glow by itself, it's gonna look like this. Let me see, you can change the color right here, change the type of the glow and all these settings. So that covers the whole thing, right? So if you want to be able to at least see the arm a little bit still, then that's why I did these merge node and the glow like that. But if you don't want, you can directly just have the glow effect by itself. Okay, then we're gonna keyframe this. So we want to keyframe it to show up right as the arm touches the actual subject arms in the actual video. So how do we do that? We're simply gonna play with the blending mode. So we're gonna create a keyframe here at the ending spot for the blending mode, and then we can do 2 frames maybe, or 1, it doesn't matter. You can play around with it and see what works best for your video. And then we're gonna take this whole thing out. So that's gonna add like a weird shiny, and you can add a few more like sort of like flickers of these if you want, but that is pretty much everything that you need. You can also add the spline editor and make it a little bit smoother for the glow. Now that we have everything, we can go back to our timeline and then check how this looks. First, it has to render, of course. But if we look keyframe by keyframe here, going one by one, you'll see how the arm comes in, and as the thing hits the actual subject, it's gonna light up and then disappear, and the movement continues. So that is basically it. It's pretty simple like that. You just create a mask and then add a glowing effect if you do want that, and then that is how you would get this effect done. It's not that complicated, pretty easy, I guess. It just takes time because you're gonna have to mask every body part that you want. And you can do this not only with people, you can probably do this effect with like cars or any subject that you want, like a building. I don't know, it's up to you to be as creative as you can be, right? So yeah, that is pretty much it for the tutorial. I'm not gonna show you an in-depth tutorial of each of these parts. Reason why it will be like a 4-hour tutorial, because this one has like a bunch of parts. And yeah, so you just gotta play with the different glow settings, right? The glow settings, I'm not sure if I mentioned it completely, but let me just show you right here quick. Here in the glow section, and this is how you would change your glow. You can play around with all these settings too if you want, but by moving these tabs you can change the glow, and by moving the alpha, the lower it gets, the higher is going to be the color, and then the higher you get the alpha, the more it's going to show your actual like mask image that you have. So yeah, that is pretty much it for today's video, and I hope that you find this effect fun to use, fun to try, and I hope that you try it. If you do, let me know down in the comments, and if you do have any questions or any other comments, also let me know down below. And yeah, that is pretty much it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next episode here in SUALVI.